Hey there, my Equalizer fans. We had another good episode tonight, did we not? Yes, we did. But I'm telling you right now, I got to give you my 2 cents about the ending part. I had some kind of feelings about it and was feeling some kind of way. I love Detective Dante, but I feel he was wrong in some kind of ways. And I'm going to let y'all know at the end. But right now, we talk about the Equalizer Season 3, Episode 9. Second chance. And before we get started, I'm going to ask those of you who have not subscribed to my channel, please take a moment now and hit that subscribe button, then hit the notification bell. It'll let you know every time I upload a new video. Then I ask that you like, comment, and share. Okay, let's get this started. So it starts off with this young man, I think his name is Tim Phelps. He's at work and he gets this visit from this dude from his old crew named Randall. And Randall, is forcing him to go back into cracking safes. But Tim doesn't want to do that because he's on parole and he wants to stay out of that life. So this guy Randall shows him a picture of his brother, Sean, with his mouth gagged and a gun pointed at his head, basically saying, he told him, this is not a request. This is what you're going to do. And this is what we're expecting us. We're going to kill him. So then, of course, Tim reaches out to Robin for help and explains that it's been him and his brother for years since their parents died in a car accident. And he hasn't seen him in like 4 years. The last time was at his trial and his brother has been upset with him since. And he never came to see him in jail or anything. So Randall is getting Tim involved because he's the only one on record who has ever cracked a CFK A7 safe. And Tim is saying it used to be a badge of honor, but now it's like a curse. And he feels that this is his second chance and he's getting hit by all of this stuff. He's getting hit by his boss taking money from him. His CO is taking money from him. Talking about if he don't pay him, he's going to tell this and that, so he's going through a lot. And he admits to Robin that the reason he got into the life was because when his parents died and I guess they didn't leave any money, what happened was his brother needed insulin and they couldn't afford it. So he started doing this theft and all this stealing and stuff. So just to give a little backstory. Then we have Robin and Mel. They're chatting briefly. And Mel mentions that it seems like things are still off between them. And Robin admits that they still are. But it's not just because of her. It's her two worlds connecting, and Mel understood, but added that, change is good. And Robin says to give her some time because it's going to take that for her to get used to it, So then Robin gives a box of she goes over to Harry and gives him a box of Aunt Vi's special occasion brownies. And she wants to know why he got them. Aunt Vi only said that he did her a favor. But then we learned that Harry gave her all of his streaming passwords so she could see all kind of TV shows and movies and everything. So Harry checks into the backgrounds of Randall, Tim, and Sean. And they are trying to find where Randall is holding Sean. And they don't have much time because the heist is supposed to be the next day. And Tim calls Robin, who tells him to tell Randall he's in. But Tim doesn't want to do it. And Robin says it will buy them some time to help them find his brother. So then it switches to Aunt Vi and Dee. They're playing cards with Vi's friends. Remember Cecil and Kat? They caught them cheating in I don't know, spades or something like that, whatever they was playing. Anyway, Cecil and Kat want to quit. And they were like, oh no, why are you quitting already? And then they start sharing that they had their home appraised and it came in very low. And it's seeming like that stuff from back in the 60s, the redlining and all of that, it seemed like that's coming back. And they were sharing that a house about the same in size, owned by white folks, of course, was appraised and on the market for twice the amount of theirs. And so Aunt Vi asked the name of that appraiser and they asked why she wants it. But she said nothing. She just smiled and hunched up her, her eyebrows like she got a plan, Aunt Vi. So then we see that Detective Dante is surveilling Randall and then he sees Tim show up and thinks that Randall is getting the old team back together, and Dante wants to take Randall down because he killed a cop, which makes this personal for him. As y'all all know, how cops can be. Robin meets with Dante to ask about Randall Graham and Dante tells her he's bad news, and she shares that he's holding her client's brother hostage and is forcing him to pull a heist. And she asks Dante, can they put a pause on it and give her 2 days to find the brother? But Dante's like, nah, I don't know what to tell you. You know, he explains that he told that cop's wife and the 4-year-old daughter that he will take him down, and he planned to keep that promise. So after some convincing by Robin saying that they can work together to take him down, and adding, have I ever let you down before? Dante thought about it and he reluctantly agreed with her, but added, will Phelps tell them where the heist is? Well, I'm going to call him Tim, even though he said Phelps. So Tim tell him where the heist is happening. And Robin said, what I know, you will know. So then Dante goes back into the surveillance van and throws a little fit about not knowing when and where of the heist. You know, he's all like he made a promise. So that's why he's going crazy. Then Harry figures out where they can possibly be holding Sean. And it's in a pizza shop. So Harry, you know, he goes undercover as an inspector, health inspector, and he goes down to the basement and finds an EpiPen on the floor. And he remembered that they said the brother was a diabetic. So then he sees another path out the back, and he informs Mel, who's outside waiting to catch them. And he's like, there's another exit. And she runs around the corner and she's looking and she sees it across the street, and she sees them throwing the brother in a car and driving off. So they lost him. So Mel hurries up and calls Robin and lets her know that Sean was there, but they missed him. Then Robin gets a call from Tim saying that they have moved the heist up till tonight. And Robin says she needs more time. And Tim is like, what am I supposed to do? And she told him that he may have to go through with the heist. And he is not feeling that at all. He really doesn't want to do it. But Robin said that's the only thing we could do right now. Then Robin calls Dante and informs him that the time has been moved up. He thanks her for this heads up. Now, he didn't notice, but she gave him a heads up. Pay attention. He didn't notice, but she gave him the heads up. And he wants to tell his team. He wants to tell his team and go get Randall. But Robin is like, no, we still don't have Sean. So they go back and forth. And then Robin suggests that they infiltrate the team with one of their own. And Dante doesn't like it, but because it's risky. And she said it's risky too. But honestly, he still doesn't even know where the heist is. I mean, Robin's guy is the one who let him know when it was going to be a heist. So Harry, Dante, and Mel, they worked together to figure out how to get inside. And they picked one of the team members that Randall has, and Mel takes his place. Meanwhile, Aunt Vi asks that same appraiser to come by and appraise her home. The appraiser finishes at Aunt Vi's house, and he gave her a lowball appraisal price. Of course, we knew that. Then her doorbell rings, and the appraiser's boss comes in and lets him know that she received a complaint about one of her appraisers was intentionally lowballing clients. And when she saw how much he had appraised Vi's house for, the boss let him know that she had already appraised the house earlier that day and did a thorough assessment on the property. She stated that she knows he didn't run the numbers properly. She fired him on the freaking spot, telling him he is done in this business and that she will probably be pursuing charges. Then Vi chimed in and said, now get out of my house. I said, I hear you, Vi. He got a lot of nerves. Anyway, back to the bad guy, Randall. And he's meeting with his little crew, and they're discussing the heist and their roles and how much time they have. When Mel knocks, Tim opens the door and she comes in. Tim doesn't know she's part of this crew. He knows nothing about her, just to let y'all know. So she comes in and they point their guns at her, asking who is she? And Mel gives the story that Carmine sent her and to fill in, and Randall calls Carmine, who is actually sitting in a precinct with Dante standing right next to him and telling him he needs to go to Florida because his mom is not doing well. And, you know, Randall's pissed. But then one of Randall's team members was popping off at the mouth behind Mel with his gun pointed at her. And Mel did a few moves, pop, 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 and took him down and took his gun from him in the damn process. And everyone in the room was totally impressed. Then they collected all of their cell phones, and Randall told her, if I find out that you anything else, he said, I'll shoot you in your pretty little face. She said, thank you for calling me pretty. And then left it at that. Then Harry, the Harry of the group, because they have this one guy who's the Harry of the group. That's the one she took down. He notices a weird frequency from a communication signal in the building. And they started checking each of them. They thought that Tim might have a wire on him. So Mel took off her earpiece and dropped it on the floor and smashed it with her foot. So now Harry has no way of tracking her, and he's freaking out. Harry gives Robin some info about a call coming into Randall's phone from a location in Long Island City under the Queensboro Bridge. They figured it was from the kidnapper, so Robin finds the spot. But while looking in the window, Robin gets caught. She tells them that she's from National Grid, and noticed that the light was on, but they didn't believe her for nothing. So they take her inside and she kicks their butts, grabs Sean, who seems to be going into a diabetic shock or seizure of some sort because he needed his insulin, and she gets him into her car and gets him, I guess, to the hospital to safety. Then we have Harry, who calls Dante to let him know that he's lost contact with Mel and he is freaking out. So Dante, trying to calm him down, walks over to look because he's like, do we have any eyes on them? Do we have eyes on them? Dante walks over to look into the window of where they were, and he learns that they are gone. Now, see, if Harry had not contacted Dante, the police would still have been out there not knowing that they were already gone. So NYPD thought they had eyes on them, but they didn't. And Dante gives Harry the info, and Harry comes down on him. Harry is pissed, saying that that's my wife and all this stuff. And Dante reminds him that Randall needs us. He hasn't killed Mel. So then Dante gets a text with some info, and he gives that man's info to Harry to look it up or whatever. So we see the bad guys coming up out of the sewer. I was like, ew, getting into a van, and they head to the Brooklyn Navy Yard. Meanwhile, Dante is grilling this guy who they got that information on, who's involved in some kind of way with all of this that's going on. And Dante tells him that if you are working with a cop killer right now, and he told him that you better give me the info you need, because if there is another body tonight, you will be an accessory to murder. So I guess the guy was nervous and he did tell him stuff. So then we have Robin. She calls Dante and lets him know that she saved Sean and she's heading towards him. And he tells her that he's headed to the Navy Yard, the Brooklyn Navy Yard, to take down Randall, and his team is on his way. She asks him for 15 minutes so that, Tim won't get arrested. But Dante is like, I'm not letting Randall get away, and he can't promise that Tim won't end up in custody. So they get to the heist, and Mel does her part, getting the lock off, then knocking out the guard who Randall wants to kill, but she stops him, saying, look, I didn't sign up for no bodies on this thing, so Randall puts the gun away. See, he don't mind killing people, and I guess that's what Dante was worried about. So Tim is looking scared, and the bad guy wants to know, Randall wants to know what is up, and he said, that's a Mark 9. You said it was a Mark 7. It's a completely different mechanism. But y'all know criminals. Randall didn't give a damn. He was like, I don't care. And he gives him 4 minutes. And he said, and if you don't get it done in 4 minutes, he was going to kill him. So he keeps kill him and his brother, I think, or something like that. So he keeps rushing him. And Mel is like, give him time, give him time. And Randall went over to shoot Tim in the head after it was 15 seconds left. And when he got to then all of a sudden he got that safe open, right? He got the safe open. And then they hear the police sirens. And Randall points his gun at Mel, and, saying, I knew you wasn't on the up and up. And that's when Tim pushes the gun away and starts fighting with Randall. But he ends up getting knocked out while Mel, is fighting the other guy. And Randall runs with his portion of the heist, those things were, coins and stuff. And it seems like Mel has the upper hand, and she got the other guy down, and she's, putting him in some kind of fisticuffs or whatever when Dante arrives, and she tells him to go after Randall, go and get him. And he tries to find him from between that maze of all of those large storage containers. I mean, it's a lot of them. You're running in between them. He don't know which way he went. Now, here's my question before I go on. Where is the rest of Dante's team? Now, they should have had that place surrounded. Not only that, why would you have all of those sirens blazing, warning the criminals that you're on the way? It makes no sense. Not to mention that the two innocent parties involved could have gotten killed because of it. And that's Mel and Tim. You got the sirens blazing. And they like, how is the cops coming? That's when they knew something was up. So anyway, Dante is chasing Randall, is on his tail. But what's her name? Mel end up getting the guy ended up getting loose from Mel and start fighting her and stuff, and got her down on the ground and threw this big heavy one of those canister things or something on her legs. And she's like, she's screaming, and he's stepping on about to shoot her. Dante's right on what's his name's tail, on Randall's tail, when he hears Mel scream. But my thought is, why didn't he shoot Randall in his leg or something so that he had to fall to the ground? You know what I mean? I mean, it's not in his back. You're not trying to kill him, but you hit him in the back on his legs or something. But so he runs back to save Mel, and Randall gets away. Again, I ask, where the freak was Dante's team when he's doing all this running with those blazing sirens? You know, they could have been helping Mel. Where was everybody? So Dante shoots the guy that had Mel and was about to shoot him. He shoots him in his back like that. He didn't have a problem doing that. Why couldn't you shoot the other one? And honestly, she is like a part of the team as well. If you ask me, isn't Mel? Y'all let me know down in the comment section. Isn't Mel somewhat part of his team as well as Harry? He wouldn't have been where he is without Harry's freaky skills. Let's be honest. Dante would not have gotten this close to catching Randall. So Mel asks him about Randall, and Dante's expression says it all. Mel looks at him and said, "You let him go to save me." And Dante said nothing. Then he goes over there and he gets Tim up and tells him that his brother is safe. And Tim, a strong black man who has done some hard time, hugs Dante like a baby with tears in his eyes saying, "Thank you, thank you." And Dante's face is just like, whatever. And I'm sitting there going, really? Is it really like that? And it really, I'm telling y'all, it kills me. It kills me that they feel an NYPD officer's life is more important than any other folks in the world. It's not right, and I don't like it. And the fact that Dante got mad at Robin saying, "You said you would be there." Excuse me, but she asked you to give her 15 minutes because she was far away. And had you allotted her that grace period or not gone in by yourself, the police would have been able to probably, like I said, save Mel, and you would not have had to turn and run back. That Brooklyn Navy Yard should have been surrounded. Dante tells Robin with tears in his eyes that he should have taken Randall down, when he had the chance, but he let her needs get in the way of him doing his job. And Robin promised Dante that she would, help him find Randall. And she said sooner or later he'd have to resurface to sell those coins. But Dante is so sure that Randall will not be back again. And she yells, "Dante," and he yells, "Be seeing you," and got mad. And I was like, see, you forgetting. You wouldn't have even been at that point without Harry and Mel's skills and Robin's idea. Let's be honest, because Robin's client is the one who told him when the heist was. That's it. At least it was the when, not the where, but the when. Then they're at Mel and Harry's bar, and with is Mel, Robin, and Tim, and his brother Sean walks in, and he forgives Tim, and Tim is like, "After all I put you through," and he lets him know that Robin told him that he had risked everything to save his life, his life, Sean's life, and Tim told Sean that he can't lose him again, and they hugged and made up, and that's what it's all about. Dante doesn't understand. You saved a black man. A black man who's trying to do the right thing. You saved a woman who's very helpful and instrumental in helping you solve crimes as well with Robin. So what is the problem? Yes, that was a cop killer, but he's gone already. And you're trying to get him, but at the risk of, what if you would have lost him while chasing behind him? What if you would have lost him? You could have shot him in his damn back the way you shot his partner in the back. Why you didn't do that? If you was right there on him. That's all I'm saying. Anyway, it ends with Aunt Vi and Delilah in the kitchen laughing when Robin walks in, and Dee tells her that Robin's like, "What's going on?" Dee tells her that Aunt Vi put Cecil and Cat's appraiser on blast, and now they can sell their house and move to Florida like they wanted to. And then Robin says something like, "It's good to have friends like you," or something like that, a good friend like you. And then Dee asks Robin, "Is everything okay, Ma?" And she shares that she promised a friend that she would be there for them, and she let them down. And Vi said, "Well, maybe you can make it up to them." And Robin said, "That's the plan." And then Dee hugs Robin and says, "Everything will be okay. It's not the end of the world, And Robin said, "It sure does seem like it." And that's how it ended. So y'all let me know y'all thoughts about this episode and how y'all feel. And I will see you guys in the next video. It's your girl Barbie J saying, don't forget to subscribe. Peace.